What is up, Marks, and 9 to 5 jobbers? My name is Kevin.
This is Mike.
This is Andrew.
Nate Dogg in the house.
You are listening to the 5 Wise Marks.
Alright guys, we survived Wrestlemania weekend. After those 3 shows, who are you a mark for today?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, nice. I'm a mark for the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Nice choice. I'm a mark for Pete Dunne's chest because damn do I feel bad for it.
And I'm a mark for Walter because, hey, Pete Dunne took a beating, guys. Alright, so that's a good transition because we're going to go from Pete Dunne, Walter, straight to Takeover. We're going to do very quick impressions of Takeover because we got a limited amount of time here today. So, go ahead. What was your takeaways from Takeover?
Clearly, it was the best show of the whole weekend. The one match I like the most is Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, Riddle, put some shoes on, though.
I dig the dream.
Bruce, I tell you that.
I thought that was the worst match.
Oh.
It was not worse than the women's 4-way, I'm sorry.
It's there. I mean, the whole show I think was one of the better takeovers. Yeah. Every match was really good, honestly. Even with Shayna Baszler, who's still very green. But I gotta say, if Meltzer's gonna give that main event 5 stars, that's what you got. That's all you gotta say.
I would actually have to give it to Pete Dunne and Walter.
Yeah, same. My thing is, while I loved Cole versus Gargano, I loved the last 20 minutes of it. It started off slow. Adam Cole's transitions were really sloppy in the beginning, which I don't get because he's normally one of the smoother workers out there. But the thing with Dunne and Walter that I loved is that was just an old school European brawl. Reminded me of Regal and Finlay back in the day.
Right on.
And, I mean, those two left battered and bruised, and I loved it. I mean, that was just old school fight.
Yeah. Which two left battered and bruised? Pete Dunne's left pec and right pec? Because those chops, that was the first time I've ever seen Walter, and I was impressed.
Yeah. Same here.
Hands of stone.
Those are mean chops.
But, you know, Pete Dunne has incredible offense, too. And the thing is, he could get him up, which that surprised me.
Yes.
Pete Dunne had pulled off some power moves on a 297-pound dude. So that was impressive. So,
any thoughts on the tag match, the opener?
It was solid.
I love War Raiders.
It was kind of spotty, but that's what it needed to be as the opener. I enjoyed it. I like War Raiders. I don't think there's much to say about it, though, because it was just kind of, you know,
it was
send off for Black and Ricochet. Good match,
right,
but not a great.
And the 4-way was there. I mean, it was still good.
The finish was totally botched. Not the last time this weekend that a finish would be botched in a women's match.
Right.
Spoiler alert. So let's move on. Let's go to WrestleMania itself. So we're gonna start with the pre-show. I vote that no one cares, so we shouldn't talk about it. But I think we should at least give a couple seconds to each match. So we're gonna start Cruiserweight title. Only one question: did you watch it?
I did watch it. Good match. It's just sad that nobody cares about it.
It's not okay to lie. Don't worry
I
about
did
it.
watch it.
I showed up late to where we were at, so I didn't watch it. Thanks, Maynard.
I didn't watch it. I was busy at work doing something.
I turned the TV on as Tony Nese was holding the belt up in the air. So that's all I saw from it.
I've heard it was a good match.
It was a solid match.
I'm
it's
sure
just too bad
it was,
no one cares.
but I just don't care about 205
I
Live.
bet it was, but I don't think I'd put the time into it.
All right, so WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Okay, go ahead.
It should have been Asuka because she got buried hard. But some other names I really want to talk about is Ember Moon. She came back
Out early.
Out so early. It's too bad because
Candice LeRae out early.
yep,
Kairi Sane out early.
literally anybody but Carmella because I don't like Carmella and her shtick.
But Vince does, and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Head horse.
Yeah, so I think Corey Graves booked that match, actually.
Right. Yeah.
No, the match would still be going on because it'd be Mandy Rose and Carmella just
They're
fighting
gonna.
for his love and
This is
affection.
actually setting up for SummerSlam, where it's going to be Carmella versus Corey Graves' ex-wife.
Oh,
So
Mandy Rose is special guest referee.
yes, we're going to move on to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Hawkins and Ryder versus the Revival. Go ahead, just take this away.
this is one that we didn't do predictions on, but later on I was talking about how I could see Ryder and Hawkins winning. if you're going to end Hawkins' losing streak, it's going to be here rather than a Raw or SmackDown or wherever. And you guys know what FTR stands for, actually? The Revival.
PG-13, guys. Let's keep
I think
this
PG-13. I think
clean.
you're allowed one
Keep
F.
this clean. Okay, sure.
Watch them 4-letter words.
I'm not surprised, by the way.
It was there in Hawkins Mania, I guess. I don't know. I didn't even know the match was going on until after we recorded last week, so that's how much they even cared about the Raw tag titles.
They didn't announce it till after we recorded last week.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought a shoulder shrug was all we were gonna get out of you, but
That's about what it did for the first 10 seconds.
like
It's a
Andrew
very
said,
visual podcast.
it's like Andrew said. It was time to break that losing streak, and if it wasn't, then oh well, I guess. But yeah, good timing, good match. It was all right, but Mike, what do you think?
The match was fine. To me, the Revival should be the key tag team in their division, but Vince just doesn't care about tag team wrestling, so this is what you get. Moving on. 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Braun Strowman goes over, last eliminating Colin Jost.
Very predictable with Strowman. But what does it really
I didn't
do
predict
for...
that. I predict Michael Che going over, so I'm a little
I just
upset.
think overall sense is everyone thought this. You get the big push. His own entrance, him and Hardy Boys. But what does it really mean for Strowman moving forward? I don't know, because he also won the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they don't even talk about that anymore. So, but this Battle Royal was buried 5 years ago after Cesaro won, so I honestly don't care about this either. Nate?
It was there just to get some play on the main television and newspaper outlets because, hey, Saturday Night Live.
But they didn't even mention anything about WrestleMania on their end. There was no...
there's nothing on Saturday Night Live about WrestleMania.
This is true.
This is not 1985.
I did like the heel heat wearing the Odell Beckham Cleveland Browns jersey, though.
That was nice.
That was
MetLife
Yeah,
Stadium.
that was classic. Do you guys think that celebrities in the Andre Battle Royal, does that take away from its original legacy that
No.
it was supposed to set at WrestleMania 30?
Here's the thing.
Just a side
The
shoot?
only two celebrities that got really, really physically involved were both big, credible athletes in Shaq and Rob Gronkowski.
Right.
I don't have
Right.
a problem with them getting involved because these are big guys. These are muscular guys. They are physically built for this. Colin Jost and Michael Che were in this, but they were never presented as credible. They were never presented as a threat in any way. And quite frankly, I loved online during the match. They actually recorded Michael Che and Colin Jost under the ring, and their reactions were amazing. So look that up if you haven't
I'll have
seen
to
it.
watch that.
That was awesome. I think that's really enough on the pre-show. No one really watched it or
I think we
cared.
spent too much time on it.
Probably. So we're gonna move on to the main show. Starts off with Alexa Bliss and Hogan. Hogan with a nice shout out to the Silverdome. I don't think we really need reactions to that. It was just an okay Hogan promo.
MetLife Center, though.
MetLife Center.
I was at a callback on that Silverdome brother.
I think just botching the names of the arenas is his new gimmick.
He probably doesn't remember the names of the arenas. All he knows is the Joe Louis brother and
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. So as that promo's wrapping up, Paul Heyman comes down, says if Brock Lesnar's not going to main event, he's got to be the first match because he's going to catch his flight home to South Dakota or Saskatchewan or wherever the heck he's living at.
Florida. Oh, I'm sorry, not Florida.
Vegas.
Las
Las
Vegas,
Vegas.
where he is ultimately appreciated. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Yes, he is ultimately fairly compensated, would be the way to word that. So then Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar kicks off the show. The match was actually shorter than the pre-match beatdown. Rollins goes over. All right, boys, what's your thoughts?
I loved it. If it wasn't going to go on last, this is definitely where it should have been. You want to punctuate in the beginning, middle, and the end. You don't want to tire that crowd because they're going to be tired anyway. It's an 8-hour show. I just wish we can get like an actual match out of Lesnar, but so be it. We got a 4, 5, 6 minute.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Not even. So, but I think it served its purpose. Hot start. It was a car crash. Right person went over. I'm so tired of the Lesnar deal. Let Rollins ruin it for a while. So, I really enjoyed it though. Yeah.
I think it served its purpose, and I think it made Rollins look like a world beater because F5 on the floor and all the suplexes. And, well, if they wanted to put the stomp over, it could have been 1, but 3 still works for me.
brother.
Yeah, I agree. I think it puts the stomp over huge. It did what it was needed to do. It put Rollins over, put the title on him. If we never see Brock Lesnar again, not going to be surprised. We'll see him in the drug testing pool, whatever, maybe not, who knows. All we know is that Seth Rollins is the Universal Championship. It did what it's supposed to do. I thought it was a solid match, good opening. Keep the crowd intact. Mike, what do you think?
3 thoughts on this. 1, Seth Rollins' back was pushing Pete Dunne's chest for roughest weekend.
Right?
Yeah, that was ugly.
Yeah, he took some beating on that back. Then the curb stomp took 3 curb stomps. But if we remember to when Roman went over, it was 6 spears.
Ooh.
So the curb stomp is twice as strong as the spear. That's what I took away from that. And hashtag full-time champ. All right.
Right on.
God bless.
Yeah. Moving on. AJ Styles, Randy Orton in what I would consider the most disappointing match of the night. Just real quickly, what are your thoughts on that?
I wish these guys had more time to work, like maybe house shows or whatever, because they both clearly had talent to put on the match of the night. But you're right, Mike. It wasn't. That was my match of the night. I think it was Nate's too. Had all the makings for it.
Except for Mike's.
Just unfortunately, it didn't deliver. But
My match of the night prediction, by the way, did turn out better than this, but we'll get to that when we get there.
I think the right guy went over, but it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed. I guess AJ got hurt, which that could have definitely slowed the match down. But I was bored. I was disappointed. I thought it was going to be match of the night, and it was almost close to the worst match of the night.
I'd say it came in second for worst match of the night.
On the main show, correct?
On the main show,
Yeah.
correct, yeah. It just is what it is. Maybe the factor of AJ getting hurt was the reason why it was what it was, but it was all right, but it's just meh.
This could have been a mid-card show on just a random pay-per-view. Moving on. Fatal 4-way tag team match for the SmackDown tag belts. Usos retain over Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Nakamura, the Job Squad, and the Bar. So, I liked it. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was good.
I agree. It was a spot fest, but what else do we expect with so many men in a match? You have to get their crap in. It was a good match. I think the right team won. No one else made sense to win. Let the Usos keep rolling on.
Yeah, we predicted that it was going to be just a throwaway SmackDown match, and that's kind of what it was, but it was still...
Could have been a SmackDown main event.
Yeah, a throwaway
Yeah.
SmackDown main event match.
Yeah.
I don't know if considering it being a spot fest made it really any better if it wasn't a spot fest. Again, wasn't a bad match at all. I enjoyed that the Usos went over. It didn't go down like my Dusty Finish prediction, but that's completely okay with me. Yeah, it was a good match for me.
It was way better than AJ Orton.
Yeah, oh yeah,
100
way
times
better.
better.
Yeah,
100
definitely.
times
Yeah.
better.
This actually
Brought
was,
the crowd back.
this was probably my 4th best match of the night. So,
We got a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Shane Miz, I did not have high expectations for this match, and I think even my low expectations were probably not met. But let's hear what you guys have to say about that.
Was this a blow-off for the feud? No, I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I guess we have tonight still. Here's the thing.
Yeah, just a note, we're recording this before SmackDown airs, so if anything has progressed in the storyline on that, we don't know about it.
I don't want to see Shane work a match in Mania again moving forward. I'm so tired of the Shane spot. He's got a suplex off something, fall off something, and then this was so predictable too. And
Was it? Because I believe all 3 of you picked Miz to go over. I was the
Yes,
only one to
we
pick
did.
Shane, so...
well, I just mean his,
Nepotism booking over there.
Yes.
well, I just mean his spot. Like he fell
Having
on a
the big
crash
spot.
pad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He fell on a mattress, and then Shane won. I don't know. It wasn't for me, brother.
Well, you, me, and Maynard were watching it together, and we called the spot after the superplex. It's like, Shane's on top. 10 seconds later, there was a ref, and I was thoroughly bored. The highlight of it was Mrs. Dad with the knuckles
Oh
out.
yes,
I love that. I thought that was
Right.
hilarious.
that was funny.
Very memeable moment.
Right.
There's a lot of them out there
Sometimes
already.
the best moments are the memeable moments in very cruddy matches, and exactly what you said is that's probably the highlight of the match. However, honestly, I did not see a suplex spot from that scaffold there. I thought it was just going to be Miz grabbing a handful of hair. This is for my dad. Toss him off, and then maybe pull a can't remember the name right now, and then jump off of him, maybe with an elbow or something, or hell, maybe even a Miz's finish, whatever the hell it is, can't remember the name, off. Shane goes face first, but
Skull
damn,
crushing
that'd
finale.
probably break a rib. So good thing that they didn't do that, but honestly, I didn't see the suplex spot coming. Is that the first time that they've done that with Shane off of a scaffold as a suplex spot?
Yeah, because usually he jumps off it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
surprised
that's what I figured.
So I guess
proud-
it's a little different.
Props to Miz for taking a suplex like that, even onto a crash pad, though.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
he gave the suplex, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Same
So
difference.
speaking of memeable moments, picture the Miz's dad, fists up. That's my reaction to the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team match.
boy.
Uh,
Oh boy, here we go. All right.
The Iconics go over Boss Hug Connection, the Samoan whatever they are, and the Divas of Doom. I'll let you guys go ahead first quickly before I take this whole podcast off the rails.
All right.
Honest man.
I think we're all in agreement. It was not fun to watch at all. It was a cluster. And I have really nothing else to say. It really shouldn't have been what it was. It should have been Sasha and Bayley versus the Divas of Doom,
Yep.
like we
Yep.
discussed before. And
Yep.
then
Yep.
Sasha and Bayley should have went over and continued on to give value to those titles. But now it's gone in the other direction. It's too sad.
This is like Russo, just random tag teams, random belts getting thrown at random times.
Hot potato.
It doesn't establish the title when you get a 3-week title reign. And watch, the Iconics are going to go for like 8 months now just because blonde.
I think they're gonna do the whole heel run and try to add prestige to it, but like it's in the wrong direction. You should have kept it on Sasha and Bayley, and it was a waste. Honestly, it was a waste of a match. It could have been something even with those competitors. I completely agree that it should have been Divas of Doom, and Sasha and Bayley. That could have saved that entire prestige of that belt being so new, but it is what it is. It was hit and miss.
So here's the deal. So I actually enjoyed the match up until the finish. It was spotty. It was not super technically precise, but I would put it just a little bit below the SmackDown tag match as far as quality. It was actually pretty decent. There were some good spots.
I agree.
Especially when Sasha or Bayley were in the ring with Natty or Beth.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a long match of Sasha bumping for Beth and Natty and then going to hot tag Bayley, I think that would have been amazing.
Same amount of time just with those two teams, 10, 12 minutes.
Yep. And here's the thing. Even with the match that they had they done the super glam slam and Beth goes over, that still adds prestige to the title because you have a Hall of Famer coming back for the title, winning it. That's a credible tag team.
With their super finisher.
With a super finish.
Right.
And then you could build towards, at the next, I believe it's Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view. Then you could have had the return match solo. That would have been pretty amazing. And then even if you're playing hot potato and you drop it back to Sasha and Bayley at that point, you've had some big spots. You could have a solo match then to add the prestige to it. But what this is looking like is Vince McMahon gave Sasha and Bayley just enough to re-sign their contracts, and he's putting them back to the back of the line because, quite frankly, for whatever reason, he doesn't see money in those two, even though Sasha still sells more merch than Charlotte Flair, Bayley's still more over than Charlotte Flair, even though she's dead in the water booking-wise, but Vince just does not like them. That's it. Speaking of things Vince doesn't like, Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Kofi Mania happens.
It's running wild, brothers.
As the Kofi shirt says, against all odds, after 11 years, Kofi Kingston finally wins the WWE Champion, the first African-American WWE Champion in history. This is 2019, folks. I'm going to start this off with just a quick talking point. Would you consider this on a borderline 5-star, like a 4.5 or 5-star match? You personally, not Meltzer.
Yes.
A notch below, around the 3.5 to 4. That's where I go.
Yeah, I would do. Honestly, I would do about a 4.
See, me, I'm not necessarily into, like, it has to be technically perfect. To me, the emotion of the match can make it. In this case, this match was amazing. It was an emotional roller coaster. There were spots where it looked like it was all over, and Kofi was done, and Bryan was going to go over. I personally would rate it as a 5-star match. That's my personal opinion. But what are your thoughts on the match? Any specific things that stood out that you really enjoyed?
I thought Daniel Bryan was really punishing him. He's a great heel. But there's not much more to cover. Mike, you really hit all the spots.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for Kofi. He deserves it. I was hoping that this would happen for him because considering all the past bookings, all the past WrestleManias, I'm just really hopeful for his future booking because I think he can really ride this wave out. Unlike Daniel Bryan, I know I kind of compared it last time we talked. It's kind of similar, kind of not, but Daniel Bryan got hurt and his run was short. I just hope that he has a good run, and when they finally take the title off him, it really means something at that point.
Yeah, it's my match of the night, personally. Great match. Yes, the emotion. So I might notch it up to that 4.5.
Yeah.
I just think it was good, really good work. I think they had just the right amount of time, and Kofi's kids coming in with the new shirt and the new belt and doing all that kind of stuff. That's WrestleMania emotion right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's also my match of the night. I loved it. I thought somehow there was going to be maybe a dusty finish with Rowan and them. But honestly, it was great for what it was. But I can't be the only one at this table or whoever's listening that thought something in that gift that Big E brought out was going to lead to a heel turn from somebody. Somebody. You're a liar if you said that someone was going to turn and it was going to be Big E. However, I'm very thankful nobody turned, made the moment perfect. Yep. Congratulations to Kofi. Can't wait to see what happens in the future, and man, I hope it works out.
So I'm going to pick up that little nugget you dropped there because as soon as I saw that, I said this out loud. I said, the package is empty. Big E's going to stick his hand in it, and when he opens it, it's just going to be his middle finger, and then he's going to plow Kingston. I'm glad that actually didn't happen.
That's actually, I like that.
As funny as that would have been, I do think it would have detracted from this moment. I think this moment was too important to have the heel turn here. To me, this is the thing that 10 years from now, when they're doing clips or they're doing WrestleMania highlights, this is what they're going to show from WrestleMania 35. Absolutely. Is this moment. Kofi holding the belt with Big E and Xavier Woods on each side. I mean... And then, Andrew, I believe you mentioned it, or Nate did actually. Kofi's kids. Kofi's oldest son is a natural baby face. He got up on the ropes. He took the shirt and he threw it into the crowd. I believe to Kofi's brother actually, but that was great. I popped for Kofi's kid. That was my heartwarming moment of the night. I loved it. I cannot rave enough about this match. It was fantastic. So we're gonna move on. We're going to move on to Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, WWE United States title. I pretty much booked this on our last podcast, so I really don't have any thoughts on it because this is what I thought was going to happen. It took 25 seconds too long. I predicted 35 seconds. It was a minute, but go ahead.
Perfect squash, unfortunately. I think Mysterio was there to put people over. It's just too bad he got hurt against Corbin on Raw. It wasn't even supposed to be the match. It was supposed to be Angle against Mysterio. But it's a blessing in disguise, so it really worked out for Joe to get his first WrestleMania win. I hope moving forward, like I said for Kofi, for Joe too, I want some awesome booking. I'm doubtful, but he's great promo too. He has all the makings for it.
It was what Mike booked. It was literally just about to a T. I think Mysterio got too much stuff in the 619.
Like I said, 25 seconds too long.
Yeah, that's about all I gotta say. And it put Joe over as a monster.
Considering the length, too, of the show, you needed one of those minute fillers, unfortunately. And at this point, it was already 7 hours long at this point, so this was definitely needed.
Yeah.
Yep, it's exactly like you said. Perfect squash. Puts Joe over huge. That's all I got to say.
All right, I don't even want to talk about this next match, but we're kind of have to. We're obligated by a contract. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
I just wish, we all knew Roman was going to win.
Of course.
I had a better chance of winning that match than Drew McIntyre did.
That water bottle did.
Yeah.
If I wasn't a mark for Samoa Joe, it'd be for Drew McIntyre. He's so much
love Drew.
upside, so much upside. And you know what's too bad is Roman got all those fireworks before he even won the match.
No, he got more fireworks
Than
for his
Kofi
entrance than Kofi did for winning the WWE
Did you watch
title.
the Kofi interview backstage?
I did not.
And then Roman's fireworks hit, and it interrupted his moment, his backstage
One of
interview
those
moment.
WWE.com exclusives.
I swear they're ribbing him. I swear. But
Well.
nothing special. It was just a Raw match. No one cares. I feel bad for Drew. Is what it
Roman
is.
wins. Lulz.
Yep.
It's exactly like I said on the first one. Roman wins. LOL.
Yep. Super Roman. All right. Now we're going to move on to a significantly longer, and I would even argue significantly more boring match of Triple H versus Batista. My personal favorite moment of the match was instead of this year's gimmick of Boo-tista or Blue-tista, we had Shock-tista. As Batista tries to get in the ring, trips over the middle rope, and falls flat on his face, reminiscent of the Shockmaster circa 1993 Clash
So he already
of
lost the
Champions.
trips right there, didn't he?
Yes.
Exactly.
The puns. You'd be
You're
over
a punny guy.
You'd be over with Becky Lynch with that one. Yeah,
to be.
guys, go ahead and talk about this. I really don't think there's much to say, but go ahead.
We knew Triple H was going over. If you're already a hardcore fan of this, 25 minutes. It was 20 minutes too long. Hashtag nose ring. I don't care. Batista's gone. He got his moment. He put Triple H over. I don't know why he wanted to for closure on his career.
Payday.
Way too long. I don't care.
Why are you giving 50-year-olds 25 minutes on Mania? I was bored out of my mind. I did like the nose ring stuff and the channel lock stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was the highlight of the actual match.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly.
And other than that, I was bored out of my mind. Ric Flair didn't even help it. And as soon as I saw the two sledgehammers, I was like, they're going to do the double down with the two sledgehammers.
Yep.
As soon as he pulled them out. It was like, oh, telegraphed.
And his entrance was subpar.
Vince just finally saw Mad Max, the first one.
Right?
Yes.
I just don't understand Triple H's entrances. But as far as the match goes, too long. Hashtag nose ring. Just like you said. I did kind of like what Triple H was like, that's a nice nose ring. Ugh. And
Ring
like,
too
I'm
straight,
like,
Michaels.
here we go. And nose ring spot. And then it's just like, all right. And my bladder's full.
Triple H wins, LOL.
All right.
So then, at this point, was this when we had the Cena segment?
I think it was just before Triple H, actually.
Okay, well, let's talk about
Yeah,
the Cena
yeah,
segment.
let's go into that.
Because it's not on the match list, so we probably forgot
Right.
where it was. Personally, this is one of my favorite segments of the entire night.
Agreed.
Elias healing it up. No one really cares, in my opinion. But Cena comes out, old school Cena, makes some jokes, just at Elias's expense, but at his own movie's expense.
You're right.
It made me pop. I mean, that was the best thing I've seen out of Cena since I think his Royal Rumble 17 match against AJ.
It was fun. That's all I have to say. I wish Taker would have done something here, but that's just hopeful,
We don't know about that yet.
wishful thinking.
Yeah, that's just
We don't know what happened on Raw yet, guys.
that's retroactive booking or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was kind of confused at the beginning, but then playing that Babe Ruth clip, then they said curtain call. So I think this is just about, is that the curtain call on the You Can't See Me Cena, or is this Cena's curtain call itself? But I did like Cena wearing the Babe Ruth and doing all the old school stuff.
Which he's a Boston Red Sox fan, so I don't know how much that hurt him to do that, but
If it was heel Cena like it was, Backlash 03 wearing the Yankees jersey in Worcester, then
Yeah.
maybe.
I think he should have worn a Red Sox jersey personally, but
Right. I enjoyed it when I was watching the promo, if you want to call it that. I was sitting there in my chair. I'm like, Babe Ruth. What is this? I'm like, who's the Babe Ruth of WWE? I'm like, the only spot I can think of as far as that is like Jerry Lawler calling The Rock and Hogan with you'll never get to see Babe Ruth and whoever. I can't remember the exact deal. And I'm like, that's the only thing I think. I'm like, there's no one considered Babe Ruth, so it kind of threw me for a stir. And then when his music hit, I'm like, it didn't make sense to me, but all right. And then he came out with the jersey. I'm like, okay, so now it's tying in after the fact. But I enjoyed the segment. Love the bars that he spat. So
if
I
we
liked
get
it.
this type of Cena, I want to see him back more often.
Agreed.
So,
Yes.
I agree.
I love the Harrier Bush line. That was my line
Right.
of the night right there. I lulled.
So yeah. Moving on from what was awesome to something that was far less awesome, which maybe could have used some John Cena. Baron Corbin defeats Kurt Angle in really a glorified squash match.
Yeah, that's too sad. Too bad. I wish Kurt Angle had more going for him there. A different opponent for sure. John Cena, the segment before.
This is totally off the cuff, but since we wanted to put over a young heel apparently with this segment, why not Drew McIntyre?
That would have been great, actually.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
And he could have destroyed him.
Because didn't Drew beat Angle on a random Raw in
a couple months ago.
October or
Yep.
something?
For no reason, no build.
Yep.
Did nothing for either one of them. We barely remember it. I couldn't even tell you exactly which episode it was or even what month it was.
I don't even think Angle was Angle even back from his vacation in October? That's how much I remember.
I think it was around the Royal Rumble, but I'm not sure.
Something around there. Yeah, probably after the Raw we went to, or
Yeah.
something around there. Yeah, but I knew Corbin was going over because that's just the old school way. You put the new guy over on your way out, and the moonsault looks sweet though.
Yeah.
I was so scared for him. I was so
I
scared
thought
for
it
him.
up, man. I'll tell you what.
I was cringing.
Yeah, but he did it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was why it was because of Triple H and Batista going on way too long. It's not the first time somebody's had a long match.
But did you want to see more of this?
But honestly, you're right. You didn't really need to see too much of it, though. But it's just bad taste in my mouth. Just, God bless Angle. He did it the old school way. That's it. It is what it is.
If it's going to be a stinker, get it over as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
So, moving on to stinkers that got over as quickly as possible. Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental title. I don't think I'm speaking just for myself here when I say Finn Balor's entrance was better than anything else that happened in this segment.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Love seeing the Demon entrance at an open stadium.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I put
they got
my
the
notes,
death spot.
I put in my notes.
Too
Not
sweet.
over with me. They got the death spot, like you said. Also, I don't care. You know?
I don't care. We've seen this match a million times on Raw. All right, bury that match. We get into the main event. It's Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, SmackDown Women's Champion. This segment starts off with Charlotte Flair in the helicopter. She's her own woman. Just remember this before this whole thing starts. She's her own woman. So there's no way at all this was a ripoff of 1986 Great American Bash when Ric Flair entered in a helicopter.
Different brands, brother.
Yeah, had nothing to do with it. She's her own woman, so when you hear Ric Flair's theme song, that has nothing to do with him. When Ric Flair's robe is on Charlotte, that has nothing to do with him. When she chops people, that has nothing to do with Ric Flair. When she woos, that has nothing to do with Ric Flair. She's her own woman. Okay? Just remember this. Then we get a concert from an over-the-hill punk rocker who, in her day, was great. I'm not going to try and bash Joan Jett, but this sounded terrible. It didn't get over with the crowd. It just was a thing. Then Ronda Rousey comes up with her smiley baby face over to Joan Jett.
Good Lord.
Hated that.
And we all cringed. Then she turned and went to angry face right away. And, okay. Then Becky Lynch comes out. Doesn't really get a crazy entrance. I was really kind of hoping they would do something insane with her entrance.
Because you went on last, brother.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they ran out of money in the entrance budget.
Sorry, Lynch.
Yeah, sorry.
Roman Reigns fireworks buddy took it all.
So, then we get into the match itself. I have some pretty strong opinions about this, but I'm going to let you guys go first before I once again derail this podcast. So, go ahead.
Really frenetic pacing. It wasn't my favorite match. I think, like I was talking about with the match earlier with AJ Styles, Randy Orton, they had really time to actually mold this. It could be something to really remember. Flash finish. We'll talk about it. I'm sure you will. Yeah. You got some strong words.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Right person went over.
Yeah, I feel about the same. I mean, it was good. Not saying it was horrible, but it was just kind of, that probably 2.5, 2 3/4 stars. We already know about the finish, and that was. We'll let Mike talk about the finish with his favorite person in the world.
Yep.
the right person went over. The match, again, was what it was. I don't think it was the absolute worst match of the night, but it definitely wasn't the best. Once again, as long as Lynch went over, it just was what it was.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the good points before I get into the negative.
Here we go.
The good, the right person won. I think everyone in the world that watches wrestling agrees. The right person won. There were some good spots. There definitely was a lot of spotty action.
Charlotte can't break a table to save her life.
No, she
No.
can't.
That was Japanese.
But remember, when we went back to Hell in a Cell 2016, Vince blamed that on Sasha. So just remember that. Now this is Becky and Ronda's fault. This has nothing to do with Charlotte.
No, not Ronda. It can't be Ronda's
She's her own
fault.
woman, right?
Well, she's on her way out, so it can be her fault.
It's her broken hand's fault.
Yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, I saw how that happened. Becky went to take her with a kick, and Ronda just stuck her hand out, took the kick full force right to her hand. Okay.
Experienced worker. Right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Right.
She was very crisp. Get to the negatives. The match was not super crisp. There's a lot of really botched transitions. I think some of this was nerves because Charlotte has main evented major pay-per-views before. Ronda has not really. She main evented Evolution, but she hasn't really had a ton of main event experience.
Still so new.
Becky
She's
Lynch-
had UFC main event experience, so
But it's not the same.
It's not the
It's
same.
It's totally
still-
different. Totally different.
Yes.
Becky Lynch doesn't really have main event pay-per-view experience. And only really Becky and Charlotte have that experience of multiple matches in front of gigantic crowds.
Yes.
Ronda only had one match in front of a gigantic crowd, and that was last year at WrestleMania, which was pre-planned months ahead of time.
And you had Triple H and
And you
Kurt
had
Angle.
Triple H and Kurt Angle in there to make sure things didn't go off the rails. So I think there were some nerves involved because even Charlotte and Becky had some weird transitions and some weird miscommunications that I did not expect. But I think it's only natural that, getting that stage and having so much pressure maybe got to them. We get to the finish, which it really fits my theory that Ronda Rousey is a lizard person because lizards do not have shoulders. So when you try to put her shoulders down, it just doesn't stay. But seriously, when you
this Jim Herd?
when you take that crucifix pin, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to lift your legs in the air, which forces your body weight down and puts your shoulders on the mat. If you watch Ronda Rousey, her legs actually stayed on the ground, and that's what lifted her shoulders up. So I'm not going to say she's just awful, but that is a sign of her inexperience, not knowing how to position her body properly for wrestling. It is what it is. That's what happens when you get somebody that inexperienced in that kind of a situation. Mistakes can happen.
Are you going to blame the ref, too? Because
The ref shouldn't have counted.
Yes.
The ref should not have
Exactly.
counted, but here's the problem. Who in that match has had a ton of experience calling something in the ring on the fly? If that was the finish and the ref doesn't count it, my
What
guess
happens next?
is Ronda Rousey goes bug-eyed, has no idea what to do. Becky Lynch may be able to go, quickly, we're going to do this spot.
Inside cradle.
But she doesn't have a impact finish, and I don't think Ronda's going to be like, oh yeah, I'll tap out on the fly. I think, yeah, you maybe say, oh, we'll counter this into another flash pinfall, but then it loses its effect. It was tough, but this is what happens when you have an inexperienced ref, because I didn't recognize this guy. This was not Mike Chioda. This was not Lil Nate, Charles Robinson. So I don't understand why they didn't have a main event ref, so to speak, in this match. But, I mean, Vince really should have been in his ear, the ref saying, just don't count it. And then figure something out, even if he has to pass to the ref. Like, hey, tell him to go another 2 minutes and then do another roll-up or something. Overall, I want you guys to do just like a letter grade of the pay-per-view itself.
C+.
About a C.
C+.
I'm going to be a little more optimistic, which is funny because I was the most down on this going into it. Yeah. I would say it's a solid B. I mean, you had the highlights of...
There's so many title changes, too, which is nice.
A lot of faces going over.
Yeah. I think...
Did we get what we want? I suppose we did.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, Becky Lynch all win. To me, that at least gives me a B, even if the negatives were there. I mean, AJ Styles Orton didn't deliver. Shane Miz was awful. The women's tag match had a weird finish. Reigns McIntyre was what it was. Batista Triple H was what it was. Baron Corbin angle was what it was. But then we get the John Cena segment to kind of balance that out. So I would go with a B. I think we all have the same answer for this, but what was your match of the night in 10 seconds?
Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan.
Kofi, Daniel.
Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan.
Kofi Mania. All right, fellas. So now, if our marathon weekend wasn't over, we get to go into a 3-hour-long Monday Night Raw.
Think about it. That's just like the WrestleMania pre-show.
Yep. So we had a 3-hour Takeover, I think 4-hour Hall of Fame. We had a 7-hour Mania and a 3-hour-long Monday Night Raw.
Not to mention the SmackDown that's being
Yes, the
recorded
SmackDown
now,
is
too.
live right now as we speak. We've got it on the DVR. So that was 17 hours of live content in 4 days.
And not to mention if some people skipped the Hall of Fame and went to the G1, which I hate you, Enzo.
Yes. I knew you were going to do that. Just didn't know where. So let's start Raw off. Raw starts out. Rollins in the ring, cutting a promo. Pretty good promo, getting the crowd hyped.
Bad.
And then, New York, don't you dare be sour. So then you get the New Day with the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Kofi Kingston. Pretty good segment in the ring. I kind of liked the little bit of tension that was there. You could see Rollins is like, hey, this is my show. What are you doing here? Then we get the twist of we're apparently going to have a unification match tonight. Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston. They both only had the title for one day. Let's have a unification match. This is nothing like Eddie versus Triple H in 2004 on the draft show. Not at all. But go ahead. What were your guys' impressions of this segment?
I thought it was a fun segment. I wasn't surprised that New Day came out, especially with the Superstar Shakeup coming up next week. They all been really fluid these last few weeks with it anyway. With their title unification match, what were we to expect? Everyone got down on it. I mean, I wasn't happy. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it, but I think every single one of us, just say yes or no, we all expected some sort of a non-finish.
I smell the BS finish coming from them. As soon as they announced it, it's like, well, it's not going to be a clean finish. Somebody's going to do something
DQ,
somewhere.
count out, draw.
This is where I thought Big E was going to turn.
Yeah,
that was what I thought as soon as they said it.
Yeah, you sent the message. We all saw it.
Yep. Exactly what you said. I thought it was going to be some sort of either disqualification or somebody debuting or somebody turning. Either way, those titles were not getting unified one day after WrestleMania. Who are you kidding?
Nope. Speaking of titles, The Revival versus Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder. I don't even want to focus on the match, but let's just have a quick discussion.
Oh my gosh, Kurt Hawkins wins 2 in a row?
Yes.
Oh my
I wrote down Hawkins' winning streak.
Yes. Yeah, he's at...
And
It's no longer who's first, it's who's next.
That's right.
So,
Bill
is
Hawkins.
The Revival dead and buried at this point?
They're well on their way. They were given the tag titles because they
Did they win a clean match since winning the titles?
And they lose to Aleister Black and Ricochet.
Yep, in a non-title match. When they retained it, it was a count-out. Oh.
They are your best tag you have in that company.
Them or the Usos. I would give the Usos in that same position, but yeah.
They'll be like 1B for me, but the Revival's 1A. But if you're going to go on this route, let Ryder and Hawkins just have some fun for a while because the crowd's going to love it. It's going to be hot for a while. With the Revival, I'd like to hear you guys' opinions. Clearly, they're the best tag, but Nate, what do you think moving forward?
I think they are the best tag, and the Raw tag division is dead, so why not have Hawkins and Ryder, whatever. And I still hate, it always has bugged me for years, that the Heat segment is not shown on TV.
I know.
They get the Heat, everything during the commercial break is nothing, come back, and they're in the chin lock.
Every single time. That is a Kevin Dunn thing, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Revival is obviously the best in the company right now, but with everything that goes on with Zach and Hawkins, they're hot right now. I wouldn't necessarily say if they're completely red hot right now because they've been like MIA for quite a while now. But I say let them run with it. But as far as the revival goes, they're like 75% buried. Me personally, I think that they have a chance of coming back, but it's either soon or nothing, man.
So I'm pretty radical here, and I think maybe we'll do a future roundtable discussion about this issue in general. But I really think at this point you need to send the revival back to NXT. Let them feud with Undisputed Era. Let them feud with War Raiders.
That's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
No.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
do this. Let them get some great matches in again. Get them some momentum back away from Vince, because Vince isn't going to give them momentum.
Confidence.
Yeah. And
Right.
then be able to bring them back where the fans go, oh, crap, man, these guys are really over. As long as Vince McMahon's in charge, I think they're done. I think they're dead and buried, and they might get like a token win here and there, but I just don't think he sees money in them.
Which is too bad.
Yeah.
Because they are
He's just never liked tag
they
team
are so
wrestling.
good.
They're crisp. They're fluid.
They're the 2019 Arn and Tully.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
great comparison.
agreed.
So,
Absolutely.
moving on, we get the Angle Corbin segment, which Angle gets his heat back, I guess, which makes no sense. He's retired, and now he's getting a comeback.
I was wondering if he was going to show up on Raw,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And then Interruption, finally back from wherever he went to.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown. Lars Sullivan comes out, destroys Angle real quickly, because this wasn't, I think, that impactful, but go ahead.
You knew there was names that were going to show up. This is one I forgot about, because he was supposed to have a huge WrestleMania moment.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to
Perhaps
debut around
against-
Royal Rumble.
I think he was supposed to debut in the Rumble.
Was it Rumble?
Somewhere around there.
Was he
yeah.
supposed to work with Cena at some point?
I think it was
Yeah.
supposed to be
Speculation.
Mania. I think it was
Yeah.
supposed to be Mania.
Yes, it was supposed to be Mania, and Sullivan was supposed to go over.
He's one name because you knew, like I said, names are coming back. I wasn't expecting him. I don't like him doing what he did to Kurt Angle.
Rude.
Yeah, but he's going to be a big time player because Vince loves his big guys.
Oh yeah.
I think a guy that has like the anxiety and all that, do not do a diving headbutt off the top rope.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
We all remember Crisp Benoit.
Crispin what?
Yeah, Crisp Benoit?
I'm sorry. That was
Yeah.
taste
So we're gonna move on from
Anyway,
Lars
hold on.
Sullivan.
I
Okay.
I'll speak my mind on that real
We're
quick.
live, pal.
Yeah. We're live, pal.
You have half the brain that I have half the brain that you do. Making me
Honestly,
look like a jackass.
I forgot about Lars Sullivan, but honestly, I was surprised. The anxiety attack or not, if he was sweating nuts in the back, it was. Honestly, can you really think of a better time for him to debut, at least on the Raw after Mania?
Yeah, that's a good debut. I mean,
Yeah.
he came
I
out,
just
he
didn't like
destroyed a
how-
legend, but
I didn't like that.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I
Put him
Okay.
over as a heel.
I guess.
Right,
Yes.
But the
right.
fans did not really care.
No, it didn't.
They've seen Angle get destroyed by 16 guys in the past 3 months.
True. Yeah, what does it really mean?
So,
You're beating up a guy that's qualified for AARP just about.
we're going to move on to an unannounced match of Alexa Lesnar versus Bayley. Bayley has just come off this run as one half of the women's tag team champions. She comes out, gets destroyed by someone half her size in, I believe, about 3 minutes, and eats a DDT that was so crisp and smooth. It was reminiscent of, I can't even say this, it was awful.
Jake the Snake, Arn Anderson, eat your heart out.
Yes. Raven, I'm sorry. Your DDT has nothing on this. Yeah. Alexa goes over, just destroys Bayley. Bayley barely got any credible offense in.
Just a sunset flip into the turnbuckle, which
Yep.
she kind of screwed up by putting her feet on it, but I still liked it.
Well,
It was cool.
Bayley's so super safe in the ring that sometimes it doesn't look good. But, yeah.
Nothing to add.
Yeah. Can we just move on from this? She's gonna get a monster push again. Clearly, Alexa's
Yes.
going to be getting some mega push. I don't know if she's going to intersect with Becky Lynch right away, but if I had to pick someone to say they're going to take up one of the belts off Becky, Alexa's a good candidate for that.
I agree.
Especially if you've read the sheets about what was going on around this time
Yeah.
for this.
We're not going to talk about
But
that.
we won't talk about that.
I would go on for 2 hours about that situation, but let's
We all could.
not.
We all could.
Let's move on to more positive things. Miss Becky Two Belts comes out, cuts a great promo, calls out that little weirdo Ronnie, and I thought it was a really good segment. And then Lacey Evans happened, Go ahead with this, guys.
I was wondering when she was going to get physical because she's been doing these march down the aisle. You know, she's getting her waves in and all this. I'm happy that she did punch Becky. I just wanted her to see. Like, I wanted her to get physical. Finally.
Yeah, Becky really put over her finish, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Right, what do you think, Nate?
I'll bring it up. If they were gonna put somebody over, which Lacey is Vince's wet dream
Yep.
of
Tall, blonde, and
Sassy.
enhanced.
Perky.
Enhanced.
Yes. But if you're going to build up to the next show, fine. Have Becky take the punch, but don't come back on it. Have Lacey walk away and Becky just sit there and just like nod her head and be like, okay, you're next.
As if
Yeah.
You're on the
as
hit
if
list.
I know what's
Don't-
up now.
Don't do the 50-50 brawl where basically Becky just got her heat back.
Yeah.
LOL, I don't care anymore now.
Yep.
Exactly what you said going on.
Kevin is rendered speechless.
Yep.
Again.
Speechless.
Again.
This is a segment that I actually had no thoughts on, but Andrew insisted that we talk about this. Ricochet, Aleister Black versus the Glorious Ones. Anyway.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to be together no more. They have more value being singles. They're
3
nobodies.
failed title opportunities in
Yeah.
6 days.
Exactly. We were talking about it earlier. It's too
And they're
bad.
still friends. And who cares about Dean and Lashley? That was
Nope.
lulz.
Moving on. We have a buzzard coming out of a box. Do we know anybody that's associated with buzzards? I don't think so.
I have no idea.
Waylon Mercy?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Wait, maybe it's Undertaker. Maybe.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
I got it. Mordecai.
Ooh. What about Kevin Thorne? Anyway.
The vampire's wife.
Bray Wyatt's back.
Anyway.
Moving on.
It's Momo.
I have very strong feelings about this next segment. Sami Zayn's back. Okay, guys, go ahead.
I called this return, by the way. I hope.
Yeah,
wishing
you read Meltzer. Good job.
No. He read me.
Wade Keller,
he read
brother.
me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong sheet.
No Meltzer mark. I wish they had saved KO until after Mania 2 because I wish he had a spot on Mania. Balor comes out, IC strap on the line. You knew Zayn wasn't going to win, but does he keep heel? Does he turn heel? Was he heel when he got hurt? I don't even remember.
He was heel when he got hurt.
He was
Because he got that
Lashley was
adulation. Oh, you're back, and then he grabbed the mic and
Yeah,
Turn
remember that
a new
awful
one.
segment with Lashley's sisters?
Oh boy.
Anyway, let's not talk about that.
I thought it was a pretty good TV match. I was like, why are they jobbing Sami out? He just came back, he got a good face pop, and then does a heel promo, and that's why I was like, oh yeah, he was a heel when he got hurt. And
Got his heat back.
Yeah, I thought it was a good
that was
promo.
a scathing promo. I thought it was good.
And well, it's good to see at least a fresher face. A face that hasn't been on the show in a while back.
Right, refreshing face. It was a good promo. I think it was all right for what it was. It wasn't that bad.
So, here's the thing: if you're going to bring somebody back from being out 9 months,
Was it that long?
yes,
Yeah.
9 months, double shoulder surgery, is the first picture you want the fans to see? Hey, he's walking down the hallway, guys. Here's the camera. That was our first
True.
look back at Sami Zayn. The crowd's like more confused than excited because they just see him walking down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes out and says, I'm back. I don't have anything going on. Let's have a match. Finn Balor comes out. Good match. Great promo. But how much better is this if Finn Balor comes out first, says, I had a great match at WrestleMania. I'm feeling pretty confident. I think even when I'm not the Demon, I can take on any and all challengers. I'm going to have an open challenge for my Intercontinental title. Boom. Sami Zayn's music hits.
Wow.
Crowd goes insane.
There's the pop. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Crowd gets a big pop. He comes down. Then they have a match. Good match. Okay, Sami Zayn came up just a little bit short, but you're thinking, oh man, he had a good match. He wrestled like a babyface, which he did. And then he comes back and he's going to cut that promo and says how much he's missed this, which he did. Then he turns heel. That would have been so much more effective of a presentation than what we got. That was my issue with that segment. Not necessarily that anything was bad, but the presentation was terrible. I just don't understand it.
Flip flop Finn and Sammy, and then
Yep.
we would have been fine.
It would have been great. So,
Good point.
yeah, we move on. We get an Elias concert, and bong, Undertaker comes out Elias is kind of like, do I stay in the ring? Do I not stay in the ring? Do I stay in the ring? Do I not stay in the ring? Tries to attack Undertaker without the guitar for some reason. Eats a big boot. Then he gets the tombstone. Okay. Love seeing Taker back. I don't think anybody has a problem seeing Taker ever. But, I mean, why Raw versus anything at WrestleMania? I mean, those WrestleMania fans paid hundreds or in some cases thousands of dollars for these tickets. You had The Undertaker in town, but for whatever reason, just didn't roll with it at Mania.
You're right. I got nothing else to add. It should have been Mania. He should have interrupted Elias then. I know I alluded to it earlier, but I was really hoping Taker would do that prior to Raw happening.
Yep.
Well, if Taker did it at Mania, he'd still be walking down the ramp.
Hey.
True.
But, yeah, the Taker and Cena stuff should have been flip-flop. But now I think this sets up Taker and Elias somewhere down the road because Saudi Arabia.
In Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Is anyone
Gotta get
invested
that oil
in that?
money.
Is anyone looking forward to that match, or is
No.
it kind of?
No.
Yeah, it'll be what
I love Taker. I love Taker. But if I want to see him wrestle a match in 2019, I want it to be with a capital E elite worker. And Elias is a great character, but he's not a great wrestler. So the match is going to be super short. Taker's probably going to go over.
Squash.
Probably. So whatever. We get to see Taker again, yay, I guess.
You guys think it'll be a casket match?
I don't know.
Why? Because Elias is getting buried?
Exactly.
Buried alive match.
Bury me softly, brother.
Then we move on to the main event of the night, which was set up by the Kofi Rollins promo earlier. We have Kofi Kingston versus Seth Rollins in a unification title match. Then the Bar comes out, attacks them during the match, and that it is what it is. Disqualification, you get a tag team match between Kofi Rollins and the Bar. The crowd absolutely doo-doos on this.
Yep.
Because you tease them to have this great match that just never happened. And hey, wouldn't it have been great if you had credible heel Raw tag team champions that you could have brought out for this segment?
Oh, I wonder who.
Who could have filled that role? And then maybe capitalized on that heat.
Instead of a team that's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's just kind of there.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Because F you, that's why. I wrote down main event, ... to F is this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Suburb.
we're off the air.
Yeah. and that was that.
So, yeah, that was our WrestleMania weekend. I'm going to pass this around to each of you one more time. What was your final takeaway from the weekend? Like, what did you come back and you're going to be like, this is my impression of this weekend, WrestleMania 35?
I haven't really thought about major impression.
Okay, we're skipping him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do mine because I actually thought about this. I didn't clue them in on this. This is a shoot, brothers. 30 seconds. Walter, awesome. Rollins winning, great. Bye-bye Lesnar. Kofi winning, amazing. Best moment of the entire weekend. Cena, cool. Actually loved having Cena there. Main event, Right Woman won. Ronda, GTFO, bye.
Takeover is like heads and shoulders above everything else except for like the main event stuff. I did listen to our last week's podcast. I do have our correct predictions. Mind you, this is Yale High School math. I'll let you know.
We'll
It's
share
a
this
teaser.
after Kevin and Andrew do their takeaways, and then this will be our go-home segment.
That's called a tease in the business.
Yes.
So to save time, exactly what Mike said, word from word.
Wow.
My biggest takeaway, Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame. Great speech.
All right.
According to my calculations, out of the 15 matches we called, because weren't there 16, we didn't have the Raw.
Yeah, we did not have the Raw
titles.
tag match.
I had 10 as the win.
Great
Big
job.
All
Kev,
right, nice job.
Big Kev number 2 with 9, and Mike and Turner Job with 7. This is according to my calculations. They're probably wrong.
I'm going to
Yale
double
High
check
School
the
math.
math.
To be fair, I picked a couple people to win that weren't even in their matches, so.
I counted Finn pinning Leo Rush because Finn did win.
Yes. All right. You've been listening to the Five Wise Marks podcast, and have a happy WrestleMania.